Before I get thoroughly hacked down by the knights of the keyboard table, I'm just passing on facts and then giving you some options, my opinions, and asking for yours in return. I'd like this video to be a forum of discussion that hopefully may do some good for the tank and the town of Vimoutiers. It has already been saved once by getting attention from the After the Battle magazine visit. Let's have another try 50 years later. I covered this incredible tank in a video last year on my old channel, including a video announcing its restoration for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. As you can probably tell, that didn't happen. Some new information has come to light about it, so I'm going to share this with you. I've also released a much updated series of videos about the history of this incredible monument in Normandy. Please do have a look, links below. I wanted to talk about the next instalment in its restoration separately, and frankly, what seems like interference by certain individuals in the local council. Their reasoning seems a little unclear, and from what I can tell, they haven't responded to requests for information in around 4 months. These reports, although in French, are available online for you to search out. From what I remember reading, they seem to sit in two camps. One camp that believes in restoring the tank to some degree, and another camp that doesn't seem to understand why it would be worth it. A little clarification from the municipality of Vimoutiers would be nice. Now for the frustrating news. I told you before that the tank was going to be restored and that some tidying up had already been started by volunteers and individuals who were going to carry out the restoration. The same was promised for the 70th, 75th and the 80th last year. Sadly, from what I can tell, the local council seems to be locked in an argument that has lasted years, nay, decades, not being able to reach an agreement whether the time and money is worthwhile. Settling in the past for a simple wash and repaint, none of which looked all that great. Their plan was to temporarily move the tank to a workshop for the preservation to be carried out. There are even talks that this workshop might be the Saumur Tank Museum, but then others saying a local master metalworker. But what I will say, and I hope they hear this, the Sherman tank outside the Utah Beach Museum, for example, was given an external restoration in situ ready for the 80th last year, and it looks much better for it. It was covered with a tent, sandblasted and painted. So why not carry out the work on the Tiger in the same sort of way? That will not only save a hell of a lot of money over trying to move it twice, but people can come from all around the world, as they already do, and watch it progress. I'm sure many people will make the journey just to see that. Money saved, and Vimoutiers doesn't lose one of its main attractions. There was also rumblings that it would be moved into the centre of town, which personally I think would be good for the town, even though it would be moved yet further away from where it fell. Originally, the town quoted €200,000 for the work to be carried out. Now, somehow, they have reached a figure of €301,000, of which the state has put forward 30%. I do get that it's a rare vehicle, but what on earth are they intending on doing to it? Essentially, it's a complete wreck with the inside gutted. And yes, before someone comments about the jaw-dropping work the guys and girls at Oz Armour or Panzer Farm, etc. carry out, the Vimoutiers Tiger is a monument that people climb all over, not a museum piece. Also, it is a somewhat later war model when old Adolf was being harassed from all sides. What I mean by this is it likely wasn't an early example of Picasso's work, but more likely a later one. It doesn't need to be perfect, just protected, and not even for us, but for future generations. Now, I think the options come down into two categories. Discounting paintwork, one thing I believe should be carried out with both options is the interior should be cleaned and treated with some sort of rust prevention. The best option is usually an oil-based one. After all, it isn't accessible and will at least stop it rusting from the inside out. Option 1, the curveball. The non-original steel plates I think should be made to look original or replaced with original parts, and as many missing parts as possible replaced. But what about the damage done by the scrapman? Or the Panzer IV parts that have been fitted? No, they aren't correct, but they are still a part of its history. Moving them or patching up the cuts may make it look right, but will it remove some of its charm? The other option, which I would put into the €301,000 price bracket, along with champagne lunches for the workers, is a complete external restoration, repairing all of the panels that were damaged and it was scuttled, replace all of the incorrect bits with original or remanufactured parts, and then an early Picasso paint job, possibly with someone else's initials welded onto the turret for good measure. This is really where I'm asking for your opinions, because I genuinely can't decide which would be best. I will say that I'd like any original damage to be left alone while still being safe. As nice as a Zimmerit coating would be, I think like its original application, it will eventually get removed or worn away, taking us back to square one. Another thing I said before is that someone with some experience should be consulted. Parts measured from surviving examples, maybe even a 3D scan of a part could produce a 3D model that can then be cast by a foundry or fabricated. Probably cheaper than trying to find an original. Panzerfarm have been doing the same sort of thing. Please do put your thoughts below.